Okay, if you just join, you might just want to refresh your page because I had a bit of an issue with it loading up. I can see there's a few people in there, but I can't. Oh, hi Solange. Hi Sim22 license to dance. Um, Solange, are you happy with a? Oh, hang on a second. That's all right. Hi Firefly. Hi Kim Timlin. Problems as usual. Late as usual. Didn't go from work till gone 8 o'clock tonight. Absolute nightmare. Things never go to plan. See my tutu, Dad. A tutu? Better late than never. Yeah, absolutely. Better late than never. I couldn't let you down, could I? Plus, I was also helping my daughter out with her homework as well. She's studying for her mock exams. So this is her last year of school. So, yeah, just helping her out a bit with her physics. Hi, Casey loves essential oils, aka KLEO. So, if you all had a good day, it's been absolutely pouring down here, UK today. Hi, Kimberly D. Absolutely awful day today. Chucking it down. Dark. You know, when you get up in the morning, it's dark and miserable. And then it just stays like that the whole day. So then you're driving home and it's dark and miserable. Hi, Sasha, 2009. Hi, Jalen. Yeah, thoroughly miserable day today. But hey, I suppose we are in the middle of October. So, got to be expected, I suppose. Same in Wales, Dad. Yes, I know, Solange. I was over there today. So what is it true it always rains in Wales? Because every time I seem to go over there, it seems as soon as I cross that Severn Bridge, it seems to rain most of the time. Yes. Hi, Mandy Hall. Ooh, yes, Dad. Yeah, I thought it did. It's true then. Mind you, it is lovely out there. Some lovely countryside and stuff like that. It's Swansea. I've been out to Swansea. I've been out that way as well. Firefly. We have a nor'easter hitting us today, Saturday. Ah, big storm, eh? Oh, Twister. Cardiff, I normally go to Solange. But I used to work in Swansea around that area, and up north of Merthyr Tydfil, up that way. Northwest Blackpool, Sasha. We're not called Pissy North for nothing. Jalen, my country, with a black flag. Is that your country then, Wales? Is that your country's flag there, Jalen? That's weird, Gower. So, did anyone pick up on the? Has anyone been following the Wayne Jones Jr.? Because there's been extra charges on that. If people are aware, on Monday, I believe it was Monday, he was charged with 4 counts, first degree premeditated murder of his 4 children. Yeah, so it's absolutely awful. What is wrong with these? Hi, Jenny Rose. What is wrong with these men? I've got to talk about these so-called fathers. Just, it's unbelievable. It really gets to me. Um, they're not fathers. They can't call themselves fathers. They certainly can't call themselves men. Um, Killing their kids like that for what? It sickens me. It really does. It makes me angry and it sickens me. Hi, Jenny Rose. Yeah, Sasha. Yeah, he. So the story goes basically, what they believe happened is that he bludgeoned his wife or Casey to death first on I think it was July 10th, and then they believe the next day he strangled the two older children. This was at their trailer home in Summerfield. It was in Florida. Um, and then I think he stored the bodies there in the trailer. I think it was empty. And then 2 weeks later, he's believed to have drowned the two little ones, and they're like 1 and 2. It's like, what is going on? Honest to God, I couldn't look at these. I couldn't stand eye to eye with these people without just wanting to kill them. I mean, they're not even my kids, but it's just unbelievable. Um, and then there's a whole story about he kind of eventually drove. The family were looking for them, and then he drove off. He crashed his van in Georgia somewhere, and her body was in the back. And I think he was buried the 4 children somewhere and was planning to burn them. I'm not sure. Yeah, Jalen, beautiful children. It's just, why have they got if these folks can't cope with their life, why have they got to take it out on their children? Why have their children got to die? It's just unbelievable. It sickens me. It really does. And he's a bit of an odd-looking character as well, isn't he? Cop smelled it, yeah. And that's part of the other story is that he spent. There's kind of looking at his ex-wife a little bit. I think the story is there's obviously a love triangle there. I think he wanted to get back with her, and it sounds like she wanted to get back with him. I don't know how, she's obviously saying she wasn't aware of anything, but then there's a whole thing about the bodies being in the van for weeks, even when he was staying with her. So it's a bit of a strange one. It's definitely a bit of a strange one. But yeah, he is a very odd-looking character. Yeah, strange eyes, just strange build, strange face. Yeah, it's just what is going on. Morals have fallen by the wayside. Yeah, yeah. Why? Just why, isn't it? You just look and think, why? Why do you have to do that? Unbelievable, tragic. And then there was something in the Amber Geiger trial or case. One of the neighbours got shot, but he was a witness, I think, but they believe there was nothing connected there. Because I know for a while people were like, "Whoa, what's going on?" One of the witnesses has been shot, but I think the police believe it's unconnected. It's just something to do with a drug deal or something like that. Hi, Sweet Storm. Hi, Sue Damas. So yeah, another tragic story. I just wanted to run that by you anyway. Yeah, you read that, yeah. Awful. Never ending, is it? Jalen's, excuse my graphics, but he said could be set alight and put out with a spade for killing those children. Yeah, yeah. I don't know what I would say if I was in a room with, or what I would do if I was in a room with one of those or someone like that. I really don't. It must take the family and stuff. It must take all their restraint, when they're in the courthouse and stuff, to not just want to fly over and take the guy out. You'd really feel like that, wouldn't you? Anyway, so yeah, the main topic I want to talk about tonight, and hopefully maybe one or two of you can phone in. I've just been taking a few notes. It's basically, I mean, as a channel moving forward, um, I'm kind of looking at how we can help people, ideally how we can help victims, victims of crime. Often nowadays they want to approach social media for one reason or another, and it'd be nice for our channel, as we've been saying for quite a while now, if we could be like a sort of safe stepping stone for them to enter social media and a kind of safe place for them. Because often now a lot of people want to share their story, whether it's high profile crime or whether it's low profile case. So how has social media changed crime? How has it changed how crime's reported? How has it changed victims of crime? It's impossible to ignore social media now, isn't it? It's become so popular, and it's kind of changed the way that we understand crime, how it's reported, and but also how people can also now be victimized online, because of social media. Um, it's obviously opened a portal to people being made victims online, unfortunately. Um, Before it was always something you'd have to see stuff on social media or mainstream media, sorry. But now obviously social media's kind of taken over as our sort of preferred news source. But like I say, unfortunately, it can also open up people to being made victims of, or certainly being re-victimized when they step on social media. So I just want to try and sort of look at the relationship between social media and like criminal justice system law and victims, really. Just going to kind of skim over it a bit. Hopefully it's not too boring for you. And then maybe you can give us a few of your thoughts if you want to call in. But I do think there is a kind of space for it in online, certainly on YouTube, stuff like that. So obviously, looking at good points, where social media meets crime. Obviously, for law enforcement, it gives them great access to the public. It gives them great access to report stuff online, and vice versa. It's easier for us to get in touch with law enforcement, get in touch with people to report stuff. You can report crimes online, stuff like that now, can't you? And the police or law enforcement can communicate in real time. They can put up posts about certain crimes and stuff like that. They can put up even CCTV footage or camera footage and say, you recognise this person, who's this. So in that aspect, it's great. It's got a lot of good points. And then obviously you've got the broadcasting of trials, criminal trials, like the Amber Geiger trial, Timothy Jones. So it gives us that whole sort of level of transparency and understanding that maybe we didn't have before. So when I was young, I don't remember seeing crimes being shown on YouTube, so not courtrooms and stuff like that. So that's some of the sort of good points, newer points, but obviously there are bad points. Obviously with social media comes trolling, as we all know, harassment, hacking, theft, ID theft, fraud, all that kind of horrible stuff that comes with social media nowadays, which is hard to avoid, as we all know. We're probably all fallen victim to being trolled at some point, or people having a go at us. But also, of course, it gives the ability for people to track people online as well. I mean, how many people have gone on Facebook or whatever and put, oh, I'm going away for 2 weeks on so-and-so date, I'm flying off to blah, blah, blah. Or, or tonight I'm going over so-and-so's house. And, if somebody really wanted to, people that post a lot online, you can kind of be tracked down if people really want to. They can kind of trace people's footsteps, if you like, if you're not too careful. And then, of course, you got like the couch detectives, of course, as we all know, one or two, which, probably for law enforcement is more distracting than anything. But also it leaves people possibly open to not getting fair trials. It can affect possible upcoming trials if people start talking and stuff online, saying stuff they shouldn't before a trial or during a trial. And of course, sometimes innocent people can be wrongly accused of stuff, which we've obviously seen a lot of in, the Chris Watts case. Certain people have had the finger pointed at them. A lot of people have been told that NK was coming out the house, and just an example, and there's a red getaway car outside the house in the Chris Watts case. Nothing yet has been said about that, even in Chris Watts letters and stuff like that. Still waiting for all that to come out. I suspect it's probably not going to come out. Personally, I don't think she was there, in my opinion. I certainly think she manipulated Chris, stuff like that, but I don't think she was there. So, these couch detectives don't always get things right. And so false information could be put out there, and that can affect people's decisions, obviously. So as I say, it can pose a threat to prosecutions and right to a fair trial if people involved in cases certainly going online and talking, or if they're sharing photos and stories, then you get hate groups created, stuff like that, as we've seen. It can all get very, very messy. And of course, from the victim aspect, of course, also, you can get a lot of victim blaming going on. A lot of people saying that, he or she got what they deserved, and friends and family as well. Victims of crime can also be exposed to victimization, which I'm sure you've all seen in different cases and stuff, where family members or particular people have been victim bashed and victim blamed. So unfortunately, social media opens up that aspect. So that's another bad point. So yeah, we want to try and look at how we can improve and capitalise on the benefits, really, make it a better, safer place. It's going to probably take quite a lot of hard work, but we'd like to be a platform to do that. So certainly, if you're listening to this, if you're a victim of crime, whether it's high profile crime, low profile, doesn't really matter. This is a channel that you can come to. I'll put our email address underneath the video. Please feel free to email us and speak to us. From a victim's point of view, it's suddenly you can find yourself in the centre of media attention. I mean, certainly, you look at the Chris Watts case. Everyone involved in that was just thrust bang straight into massive media exposure, weren't they? Hi, Tamara Hayes, and they've got no say in that, really. I don't think it's just that case was just chosen to be thrust out there, and everyone involved didn't really have a chance to do anything about it, really. So in that respect, that's kind of unfair. Firefly, absolutely. We're here to love and support victims. Absolutely, we're not here to give professional. We're not professional, give professional advice, but we can certainly start looking at putting up victim lines and pointing people in the right direction, but more importantly, just giving them a loving community and somewhere where they can speak, somewhere where they feel happy to share their story. Because a lot of people now, we've seen it in recent high-profile cases, haven't we? Family members, friends, stuff like that, starting to reach out to social media, certainly to YouTube and crime channels and stuff like that. Obviously, they feel that it could possibly help law enforcement catch people. It raises awareness. Some people use it for fundraising, stuff like that. But probably also, I think a lot of people use it maybe as part of their recovery process. Some people probably find it helps them emotionally, maybe to open up and talk, talk to other people about it, really. Maybe part of their sort of healing process, if you like. Get feelings off their chest, stuff like that. But of course, they've got to be careful when they come online, because what they say in the public domain, once you say it, obviously it's kind of out there, isn't it? What you say, even if you delete it, possibly it's been screenshotted or recorded, and so they need to be careful or guided really in what they're saying when they come online. They may say something that they think now, but in future their feelings may change, and they've then got to try and backtrack, haven't they, and try and put things right. Yeah, it is a huge job, Kimberly D. Yeah, I mean, I know they probably do get some guidance about social media, Hi True Helper, stuff like that, but I think a lot of people maybe now are just stepping out blindly. I've heard people in the Wayne Jones Jr. case that have started to speak out online and stuff like that, and they've got to be very careful, because they're at a very vulnerable stage, and stuff they say now could possibly affect trial, stuff like that. I think that's something they've really got to take into consideration, and they don't want people abusing their vulnerability either. So yeah, so we, in a nutshell, we want to make victims feel heard, because a lot of the time I think they need a voice. A lot from what I've read is that victims don't feel that they're heard. Sometimes I'd imagine you'll get people who maybe feel that because their crime they're involved in isn't high profile, that maybe they feel kind of left out. Maybe that their loved one, maybe who was murdered, isn't as important. Do you know what I mean? Which must be a horrible feeling, if just because your crime hasn't been thrust out into the high spotlight, if you like, it's no less important, is it, if you've lost someone? It certainly shouldn't be. So we want to make them feel heard. We want to make them feel respected, safe, and find strength to kind of move on to whatever they want to try and do, really, or just help them to try and get past it. So I think we can help humanize people and give them a good footing when they step onto social media, certainly YouTube. So I know probably some of them just feel that the criminal justice system just kind of takes over and probably focuses on, the perpetrator and the offender and the crime, stuff like that, rather than the victims that maybe are obviously left behind, or the surviving victims or family members, stuff like that. Obviously, we know the ripple effect can be, very large, particularly when it involves two families, as we've seen. There's been, a massive ripple effect both sides of the families. So if we can give them a platform just to talk about their loved one, or talk about their experiences with law enforcement or with the justice system, I think that would be a good platform for them, and help them emotionally, really, as well, and help them speak their stories. And we've had Happy Wife on our channel, haven't we? And obviously we've had obviously Frank and Frankie Rosette obviously have been on our channel as well. I think that's most of my notes, what I'm going over. Don't want to keep repeating stuff, otherwise I'll be here all day. So yeah, I suppose things to think about for victims when they come online. Loss of privacy is potential, isn't it? They've got to be careful that they protect their privacy. Be careful about what they say, public comments before, during, after trial, because as everyone knows, we're all got opinions, we're all experts, we're all news publishers now, and they've got to be careful that they don't see and hear things as well that are going to upset them, like these books that have come out. Chris Watts books, the Chris Watts book, Letters. You know my thoughts on it. I don't agree with it at all. I don't think in a million years he should have been given any platform to speak his story of what he did. The guy just disgraces me. I don't want to hear what he's got to say or how he did it. As far as I'm concerned, the guy is just a piece of crap, for what he did. So I won't be buying the book, that's for sure. I'm sure I'll hear about it. It's just inevitable, isn't it? Online, you're going to hear people talking about it. But it's not something I want to trash book. Yeah, it's a trash book. Trash book. But people, unfortunately, are going to milk that book for the most they can. They're going to set up deals to read it behind Patreon accounts and stuff like that. They make the most money they can out of it. It just doesn't sit comfortably with me at all. I don't agree with it at all. That's my personal opinion. But I have even seen people reading it on YouTube. I don't know if anyone's aware, which I shouldn't be doing because of copyright. But there is a certain psychic woman out there who, what should we say, who likes a drink or two, that has been reading it awfully, I must say, awfully. But it was pointed out to me, and I just quickly checked it out. Yeah, the Daily Mail. Yeah, they had an exclusive with. That kind of makes me question the author as well. This Sherilyn Cadle. She's obviously sold parts of it to the Daily Mail, so she's obviously in it for the money, isn't she? I mean, the Daily Mail publish anything, wouldn't they? So she kind of sold all the tidbits, didn't she, to the Daily Mail, and then they published it in 2 articles. So I don't know what else is going to be in the book, but I do know what was in the Mail article. Yeah, I did read about that. There was a bit about the Oxy as well, wasn't there? And then there was a statement on Crime Rocket from one of the family members or a friend of the family that and a voice recording actually as well from Chris, that he found it in the bin at home, but I don't know where he got it from. It still doesn't really explain. I suppose he's trying to say that it was at the home, it was shenanigans, but I don't know. I don't really want to go into that anyway at the moment. Yeah, promote sales, Jaden, exactly. Yeah, that's what it's all about, isn't it? It's all to promote sales of the book. Yeah, Scott Reese has done an interview. Yeah, Solange, he was saying it was in one of the bins in the basement. There's like a medicine bin that's full of all these tablets. And he's saying he got it from there. Hi, Brandy Brown. But I don't know. There's talk of it being an 80 milligram oxycodone, which is very high dosage. I don't know. I'll need to reserve judgment until the details are out on this book. So obviously it's going to be talked about and stuff like that. So, hi hippie love. It's an appointment. Can't comment. So I'll have to pass judgment on the Oxy. But yeah, if you go to Crime Rocket and if you search for I don't know, Chris Watts Oxy or something, you'll see something on the story about that. But there's some real odd stuff going on around. Oh, it's 80 milligrams, not a high dose. Missy J. Oh, 200 is a high dose. Oh, right, okay. So I thought it was a higher. I thought it was a high dose. Oh, hang on, we've lost the meeting for a second. Now we're back. Hi, Cat in the Hat. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to put up the numbers. So I want one of you guys' opinions on how we, social media, or us at our channel, can help victims. Okay. I want some of you guys' opinions. I'm going to put the numbers up. I'm going to unlock the meeting. It's unlocked. So it's up to you guys. Hi, Mr. Shannonite. Just passing through. I want to announce me leaving the community. It's nothing anyone has done. More minor drama I got involved in, but I shall return again one day. Love you all. Okay, thanks, Mr. Shannonite. Wish you all the best. I know it's become a bit of a toxic place at the moment. I think the whole world's a bit toxic at the moment, especially in this country. We've got Brexit going on. We've got all this stuff about the planet and stuff like that, and everyone seems to take sides with everything at the moment. And and obviously on YouTube, it's just a very toxic environment as well. Climate change, that's what I meant. Yeah, it's sort of everywhere. It's two sides everywhere at the moment. A lot of trouble going on. There doesn't seem to be any kind of healthy middle ground of debate anymore. It's either like you're that side or you're that side, and we want to kill each other if you don't agree with me. Um, which is a bit sad, really. People have to be that extreme, but so 80 milligrams is not dangerously high. Oh, I'll have to check that. I thought it was high. So, no, that's a very strong drug, isn't it? Oxycodone is basically like synthetic heroin, isn't it? I mean, it's very rarely prescribed in the UK. I would have thought it's sort of top of the opioid tree, isn't it? Oxycodone. I only have had it once. That's when I had my hip replaced just over a year ago. It could kill a fetus. Okay. Yeah. I would have thought it'd be the obvious choice, though, to be honest. But that's what's claimed. He's claiming that he gave it to her in North Carolina, and that's why she was sick that day. But who knows what's true with Mr. Watts? He certainly likes to mix things up and make things up, doesn't he? I said, Tamara Hayes, when I got oxy for my back, the most I got was 50 milligrams per day. And did that kind of knock you out, Tamara? Was that a strong dose? I say when I was in the hospital, I don't know what dose they gave me. I know it did kind of knock me out a little bit. I don't know, certainly people who aren't used to, or people that don't like painkillers and stuff like that, it would make them sick. Certainly something as strong as that. Hi, Sophie H. Certainly something as strong as that. So addictive. Yeah, so addictive. Yeah, that's why they don't prescribe them. CDMS. So I think it's basically synthetic heroin, isn't it? Basically. But yeah, he's claiming that if you go, I'll link it under the video after. But it's actually a voice clip that was sent from Dodge Correctional, where he is. I don't know who he's talking to. Presumably, he's talking to one of his family. I presume what's happened is that he's obviously said this in the book, all the letters that's been leaked. It's weird the fact that he said he's taken it to his grave, and that's weird in itself, isn't it? And then he's now saying that he found it in the medicine bin downstairs in the basement. So why would you say one thing Why would you say that? You've taken it to your grave, and then on the other hand, you're saying that you found it in the medicine bin in the basement. Doesn't make sense. So he's lying. So one of those is a lie, isn't it? Jalen, they've done a recording because people are accusing his sister. Yes, like there are. There's people that are accusing. Some people saying it was Jamie, obviously because of her profession. Some people are saying it was NK. Some people are saying he could have bought it off the street. But yeah, is it true? This is the trouble. Is it true? Because you can bet your bottom dollar he's heard so much that's gone on YouTube and social media and all these channels that have been speculating and stuff like that. That's probably all of that's been fed back to him. So he's had an opportunity to make up any kind of story he likes, really. And if he's getting some kind of narcissistic pleasure out of this from doing this, because he knows it's going to create a massive, um, furore, and who knows? This is why I hate the fact that this book's come out, because he's going to get satisfaction out of this, because he knows people are going to read it and people are going to talk about him, and he's going to get all this attention, and he is already, isn't he? I mean, I'm giving him attention now, talking about him, but yeah, that's what frustrates me. That he can get all after what he did. He's going to get all this attention, and it's going to be fed back to him how well probably what people think of his book and his letters. He googled oxy. It's in the discovery. He didn't know that drug and the effects, or you don't believe it came from home. Yeah, he did Google it, didn't he? So did someone tell him the effects of it? Did he Google it and find out himself? Is that something you would take to try and kill a fetus? I don't know. But this is the thing now. This is what's going to go round now, isn't it? Hi, Connie. Yeah, poor Shanann, absolutely. Absolutely. But it does seem weird that she was sick that night, doesn't it? Obviously, because she's pregnant. You think maybe it's because of that. But, now he's thrown that in there, in the mix about this oxy. Yeah, I think you get oxy. I think OxyContin is the slow release. I think, isn't it? The slow release. 'Cause normally these tablets you get slow release, don't you? Which are slowly absorbed in your system. And then the oxycodone, which is probably the instant release. I'm not 100% sure on that, but a lot of drugs you do get a slow release version, and you get the normal version. Keeps everyone talking, I suppose. Templedore, yeah, it does. It's certainly going to, isn't it? I mean, now you've got that conflict now, haven't you? That he's going to take it to his grave, and then him saying on that recording that he found it in the bin in the basement. So why is he taking that to his grave? I have no idea. Is he just saying that about taking it to the grave? Because he's then got control over everyone, hasn't he? He's got everyone guessing like we are now. Is he getting some sick, perverse satisfaction out of that? And I find that incredibly frustrating. Incredibly frustrating. And who knows, a year down the line, are we going to get another book come out, or he's going to say something else to somebody, and then that's going to get leaked out, and then we're all going to be talking about it again. I guarantee you that's going to happen. Guarantee you. Oh, Sophie H's back to work. Thanks for popping in. We've been very well behaved tonight, which is great. I hope I'm not going to curse it, but hi, Holly Benjamea. I believe his family made him say so, or say that, so that didn't imply that someone was there helping him by supplying him with the oxy. It's a possibility, isn't it? It's what some people are thinking. That's what some people are thinking. Is he purposefully punishing his family? Is he purposefully punishing his mum? Does he not like his mum? Has he fallen out with his mum? Has he done that because he knows it's going to implicate people? Who knows? He's still saying he loves NK, and some people are suggesting that she might be writing to him in secret. I think he's had a letter or two that he thinks she's writing to him in code, believe it or not. That's what I understand. So has he totally lost the plot? I don't know. Jaylee and I feel so badly for those ex. Yeah, everybody. I think everybody does. I mean, that's why I would never in a million years read the book. I wouldn't buy the book. It's just re-victimizing them again, isn't it? And however much they try not to hear about it, they're going to hear about it, aren't they? It's just another kick in the guts for them. And again, that's maybe another reason why he's done it. That's why I wouldn't want the book to ever be written in the first place. I don't quite know what the author was thinking, really, in writing it. She said it, she was going to help him find God, and all of this is his path to finding God. I don't know. She's starting to get a little bit of a backlash already, I think. That Sherilyn Cadle. This book is just the first stage in trying to get out. Of course, he would infer he got help. Yeah, can't respect responsibility, Kenny. Can't accept responsibility. He's got to have somebody else fault, somebody else helping him. It can't be all his own fault because he's such a coward. Such a coward. The thing that disappoints with it is Sharon is not a professional author or anything. She's never written a book before. This is her first kind of book. A few of the early reviews said it was a little bit disjointed. I don't know whether she's obviously used his letters and then she's obviously, written in between pieces around it. The other thing I thought was a bit suspect is her first interview she did with Critical K, which I thought was a bit odd. I mean, she must know CK's history of what she, what she used to say about Shanann and stuff. So I thought that was a bit odd that she would go to her for the first sort of interview, and I think she's doing a subsequent interview with her as well, which I thought was a bit odd. She's done interview with Scott Reich as well, hasn't she? I presume quite a few of you have seen that. I think he did it in 2 parts actually. I haven't seen both parts. But Connie, look, I'm not great at playing games with psychopaths to keep them talking and expose them, but I'm getting tempted to take one for the team next if no one else does. Just being honest. Does that mean you're going to write to him? Or are you talking about calling in? About time someone called in. Been ongoing for nearly an hour. Talk about what you want, really. It's up to you. This is your platform just as much as mine. To write him. Dedicated to exposing him. Do you really think you could get through to him though, Connie? Do you really think you could get him to tell the truth? And even if, what is the truth? How do you know he's telling the truth? It's so difficult to know, isn't it? It's so difficult to know what he says now, whether it's just a pack of lies. Well, he's like, he puts bits in there, doesn't he, that are true, obviously, and I mean, Sherilyn's claiming that this is probably the truth. She thinks it is, but I mean, she's obviously had that face-to-face where you can kind of judge people a bit better, but apparently you never looked at her, so Connie and I think I'd be terrible at playing games with him. I think I just want to kill him, to be honest. I would just think of little Bella and Cece, and I think I'd probably just lose it. I'd probably just go for him. That's my honest opinion and what I would do. I'd just go for his throat or something, and I would just knowing what he did. Just know I can't. There's no excuse. I can't. I couldn't talk to somebody done that. I'm sorry. Pseudomass. Are you talking about talking about Cindy's book? Has anyone seen that? There's been 5 chapters come out. Supposedly, they are just her thoughts on paper, but yeah, I don't know. It seems strange. I think, in my personal opinion, the timing of it is really inappropriate. Um, Considering that Chris's book's just come out, you know, you know, yes, her son he's done this horrible thing, you know, and killed their grandchildren, but he's still alive. She can still see him. He's in prison. He's not gone. You know, Shanann's gone. You know, um, he killed her. You know, and you know the Ruseks are the ones. They're the real victims in all this, and they're the ones that everyone should be thinking of. Everyone, you know, including the Watts family. Um, you know, yes, it's tragic that they lost their grandchildren as well, and absolutely they should be grieving for them, but they shouldn't be grieving for Chris, or they shouldn't even be thinking of him. Maybe just speaking to him as a mother, but not writing a book now saying how she feels Chris has been hard done by and what have you. If this is what's coming out in the book, that's awful. That's terrible. Um, you know, in a first interview, I called it a train wreck on my last live, and that's what I stick by. You know, that was an awful interview, and they haven't. I mean, they just haven't conducted themselves well at all. Yeah, it's all just so very sad, isn't it? But Chris is the one that's done it. Chris is the one that doesn't deserve all this attention. That's for sure. Um, and it's the other thing. It's weird that these books are coming out, and it's almost like they're being played off one against the other, isn't it? I mean, what a lot of people are saying is that obviously Chris's book's come out. He's kind of told the truth, or as much as the truth as what we can assume. And he's basically said, look, you know, yes, I did it. You know, I killed Shannon, I killed the children. This is how I did it. And then you've got Cindy Watts' book coming out, where people are saying maybe you know she doesn't want Chris saying this. Um, she doesn't want people to think Chris is this monster. Unfortunately, he is. So you know maybe she doesn't want her book affected by it. But I mean, people are saying that. I don't know if it's true or not, whether she's just hearsay allegedly, but she still believes that Shanann killed the children, which I find extremely hard to believe. If she still thinks that, in reality, then she has got no chance in hell of anyone ever liking her ever again. I mean, the guy's admitted it 3, 4 times that he did it. So that thought just needs to be thrown out the window. Yeah, Holly, you're right. The Rosettes have acted with extreme class. They have, and they have shown great um, forgiveness and great dignity in everything they've done. And that's just made people love them even more, isn't it? The fact they lost their beautiful daughter and grandchildren, on top of that, the way that they have conducted themselves and acted has absolutely made people fall in love with them, quite rightly so. It's quite clear what kind of people they are, isn't it? What kind of family they are. So it's just an absolute tragedy what's happened to them. So yeah, purple. Fill the screen with purple hearts if you like, guys. That's all for that. Michelle Milliken, that's a new name. If Monster Watts found God and wanted to tell the truth, he would have got in touch with the FBI. Yeah, I don't know why I don't know why he decided to keep these things back. I don't know. I don't know why. Why did he keep those things from the FBI? I really don't know. It does seem a little bit strange. Whether he just thought it sounded worse than what it already was, I've no idea. But I mean, how many believe this story about him? Having to sort of kill the children twice. I mean, is that believable? I don't know. I really don't know. No, Connie thinks no. That seems strange that he's suddenly come out with that, isn't it? It's almost like he's decided to make himself look even worse than he possibly could. Maybe he just wants to be killed in prison. Sue Damas believes it. Janet doesn't sound right. Connie's lying again. Yeah, is he getting some morbid satisfaction out of saying that? Danielle believes it's true. Connie wants us to think he was possessed. That's part of the book, actually, isn't it? I understand that Sherilyn and Chris obviously have talked about some kind of demonic possession going on. Personally, I don't believe in demonic possession. I don't know if anyone does. I don't. Um, that's something that maybe he's claiming. Hi, Making Lemonade. Nice to see you here. Hi, Genetic Code. If you want to call in, Making Lemonade, you're welcome to. We've been trying to catch each other for a little while. Lost my train of thought then. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, demonic possession. Yeah, I don't believe in that. But I mean, some people are suggesting that it might be on drugs. Some people are suggesting it might be in the Thrive patches. Amphetamine rage, speed. Who knows? Again, it's going out on a wild limb, isn't it? Really, I don't know. But apparently, he'd been planning it as well, hadn't he? He'd been planning it for a while. I just think he was just evil chicken shit who couldn't face getting a divorce, and in his minute distorted brain he thought, yeah, I know, I'll wipe out my family and live happily ever after and no one's going to find out about it. I mean, seriously, whatever made him think that he was going to get away with that, I have absolutely no idea. I mean, I do in my heart of hearts believe that he put the children in his tanks because he thought they would never ever be found. And that's why I believe he did that. He's saying it's because they didn't want him to get up again, like he was saying when they woke up after he'd first tried smothering them. I think that's crap. I think he put them in there because he knew that was one place they would likely never ever be found. So, Jamie, making a mate. I hope you haven't been getting too much grief. Oh, you're going to call in. Great. I'm sure most of you are aware of Making Lemonade's channel. She does some good parodies and stuff. She's done some of Mary Marlowe. She's done some of Hypocritical K. And I think she did one of AD as well. Connie Gustafsson, I still can't figure out what his ultimate plan was. It seems like there was more. I don't believe in this oil explosion thing. I don't believe in that. I mean, how are you going to light an oil field anyway without? I don't know. I don't believe in that. How would you do that without blowing yourself up? Yeah, I don't believe in that. I think he put them there because that's one place that he knew they would never ever be found. And then maybe he was going to go back and be very Snow. I don't know, but I don't know, it wouldn't make sense to me making a massive oil explosion. I mean, you have to have one hell of a wick, wouldn't you, to get yourself clear, safe. I just think that's all speculation, rubbish. Same, I'm not of the opinion that NK was involved either. I know a lot of people want her to be, a hell of a lot of people want her to be, and a hell of a lot of people say that she was there and she walked out of the house, but I don't think she was. I think she probably manipulated him a lot mentally, yeah. But you've also got to remember that he is a pathological liar. So, the story of his marriage, what he painted to her, is probably, a lot different to the reality. I mean, she was probably sure that he was leaving and stuff. And I'm sure she did manipulate him, but yeah, I don't. I think they would have probably had her by now if they had anything. Be interesting to see if he says anything in these letters. I suspect not. But yes, it is Zoom. Making lemonade, yes. You can ring the numbers along the bottom. Or, yeah, if you've got Zoom, just put the meeting ID in. It's running along the bottom as well. That should bring you straight in. Just make sure it's unlocked. Make sure. Yeah, room's open. So has everyone seen Martin's latest videos? I hope everyone's not too worried about being hacked and stuff like that. Just make sure you keep your security updates done and stuff on laptops. Make sure you've got firewall and antivirus and all that sort of stuff. Don't use obvious passwords and stuff like that. I wouldn't worry too much. Miss Susie, can't find Martin. Do you want me to put Martin's channel link in here? I'll put it in. Hang on a sec. It's got some interesting videos up at the moment. It explains a lot, really, of what's going on with a few channels and a few ulterior motives, if you like, of a few channels. There's a few channels that aren't quite what they pretend to be. Right, okay, that's Martin's channel, which I've just put in there now. So when it's all said and done here, then yeah, go and have a look. He's got some interesting videos up. and he knows what he's talking about. He's very factual. He's done his homework. I think, when he was sort of, obviously he lost his channel, unfortunately. I think that gave him some time to sort of observe from the outside a little bit and see exactly what's going on, and he's seen what's been going on. Okay, let your phone charge, Jamie, that's fine. But yeah, he's got some interesting videos, to say the least. A bit of an eye opener, if you like. So this is great, guys, that we're running this room and there's been not one bad comment. I haven't even had to give out a wrench. Now, I know now I've said that, someone's going to come in with a really horrible comment. But that's great. This is perfect. This is the sort of community we want here, isn't it? Cat and hash. Yeah. I know I've jinked. I know. I had to say, I'm sorry I had to say that. But don't worry, I can whack people out. No problem. I'm still in shock with a GN language. GN, who's GN? I'm being slow. Which means GF. We're well behaved. You are, Kimmy D. You're very well behaved. All of you. This is great. So yeah, so I'll tell you what some of you guys maybe could help us with is I'm looking to, as we sort of run our lives, is put up maybe helplines and websites for kind of victim support, stuff like that, victim advocacy sites. And obviously, we're in the UK. I know a lot of you in the US, and obviously you've got 50 odd states over there, so you're all different. If people could put in or email to, let's just take care of this guy. If people could put in or email to me links, or if they're aware of numbers or helplines for sort of victim support charities or whatever in your area, if you wouldn't mind, if you could just please email it to us. I'll put the email underneath this video, and that'll help me just to start compiling a kind of database of numbers and helplines and stuff like that. So I'd like to start trying to run them through, as we do the lives and stuff like that. I can start sort of putting them into the chat and that kind of thing. That would be good. Suicide prevention, yeah, absolutely. Solange, we can do that as well. Absolutely. So obviously it all links in, doesn't it? And yeah, we can start doing that, and I can start, as a channel, start advertising us a bit more for victims. Being a voice for victims, stuff like that. I can start putting maybe a few videos and stuff together, just try and let people know we're here and what we do. And hopefully going forward that will be good. Hopefully we can make it. While I'm here, I'm sort of late 40s now, and I'd like to do something positive in my life. I like to do stuff for other people. I want to do something positive for society, make a change, if you like. So, that's ultimately what I'd like to do. I've got no ego associated with this channel. I'm not out to make myself famous or anything like that. I want to make a real positive difference, and I feel that the sort of platform we've got, we can do that. The history of the channel that we've got, we can do that. So, let's start. Let's make a change. I think it'd be good. And obviously we can discuss crimes and stuff as well at the same time. because obviously it's all linked in together. Obviously, as you know, I work full time, so it's quite difficult sometimes for me to do research, stuff like that, get stuff together. I do it as best I can. It's why sometimes these lives are a little bit haphazard and all over the place. Uh, but I'm sure, I'm sure we can get it to work. Maybe I can lean on a few of you guys to help. Certainly, if anyone feels that they can offer any time to help, again, please let me know. Just email our email. I'll put it under the video now. Actually, probably most of you know it's theteamphoenix@outlook.com. Basically, so if you feel you can help in any way, please do. And we've got to start somewhere, haven't you? So, and believe it or not, I think we've got quite a good name out there in the crime community. Believe it or not. So, yeah, I think it'll be good. Deb, BC Survivor. I watched a video this morning on words psychopaths use. Very interesting. Oh, right, okay. That's interesting. I've actually in touch with someone who we're just talking about what we want to do actually, but I'm looking to bring her on. And we're going to kind of look into maybe the mind of, I don't know, what you call a psychopath maybe, or family annihilator if you like. I don't want to give too much away at the moment, but it's somebody who's very intelligent, experienced, and we can maybe look at why it happens, why these men do what they do. I think that'd be something that would really interest you guys as well. There's got to be a reason for it, isn't there? Somebody can do that. I mean, when I even think about laying my hand on a child, it just makes me feel sick. So, how anybody could take the life of a child, let alone your own child, it makes me sick when I watch these, like in this Michael Wayne James Jr. When you see the sort of videos they've done on Facebook and stuff, and he's playing with the children, and I just think, it just makes me feel sick when I think what he did to them. And I think it's the same for a lot of us, isn't it? Because we just can't go there. We can't even put ourselves there. We just can't even begin to understand it. Deb was saying the study was done on murderers in prison. They like to talk about what they eat, money, use a lot. They talk about what they have done in the far, far past. If they talk about it. Oh, right, okay. What channel was that on then, Deb? Is that like a Sky channel or terrestrial TV? Oh, look it up. Okay, that'd be good. Yeah, we can put that in the chat. We can. I presume a lot of you are interested in the psychology side of it, criminal psychology. It's certainly that's the thing about crime, isn't it? There's just so many aspects to it. There's so many aspects to it. You've got the crimes themselves, and you've got the criminals. You've got the psychology behind the criminals. You've got the jail system. You've got the justice system. You've got the sentencing, the court system, and then you've got the victim side of it. Victim advocacy, people being re-victimized, all that kind of thing. It's just huge. It's a huge sort of plethora of subjects, if you like, really, isn't it? Crime, you think about it. And I think it's interesting to study all aspects of it, really. Oh, there we go, Deb. YouTube Inside Cornell analysing the words of psychopaths. So there you go then, guys. That's something to look up. That's something to look up. I think that, a lot of that's what's captivated us with the Chris Watts case, isn't it? Because we all want to try and get inside his head, don't we? And understand why he did what he did, And if we all knew the answer to that, then maybe we could prevent some of these other cases from happening. I mean, or are they all unique? You know, if you sat Chris Watts down and you sat Michael Wayne Jones Jr., this recent one down, have they got similar traits to them, or are they two completely different people? In their personalities. Is it other outside pressures that affect what they do? Is it marital pressures, financial pressures? Is it just a boiling pot of emotion that just explodes? But I mean, certainly Chris Watts, he said he premeditated it, so he obviously was planning what he was doing. He knew exactly what he was doing. It wasn't like a snap decision, was it? So yeah, it's fascinating. So I'm gonna arrange that, and I think you'll all enjoy that. You'll all enjoy that. Well, this is a lot nicer. This is calmer than the last live, I must say. I won't need a drink after this one. That was quite an emotional live last time, but I hope people got something out of that live. I had no idea it was going to pan out that way. It all just kind of happened, but I believe everything happens for a reason, and I hope that people learnt a few things from that live. It felt quite a powerful live to me, anyway. So it was quite an emotional 2.5 hours as well. But and it was nice to have Caroline call in as well, of course. Yeah, it was a bit of a lot, Kimberly. It was quite a lot to take in, but I think it was I do think it was worthwhile. You get all these people overreacting. Oh my God, that was a disaster, and blah blah blah. It's like, look, we're all adults. Let's just deal with it in our own ways. Um, people don't need to get crazy about it. And I hope people learnt something from that. Maybe they didn't know before. Watch out, Connie's a hacker. Might know how to hack you. Oh, Deb's one of Mummy's ramblers. That's good. Yeah, I sometimes go in there, see what Caroline's up to. She's got a really nice community there, actually. But she does get some weird trolls in there as well, don't she? I've seen her. She does get some weird trolls. Of course, she had that phone call, didn't she, a while ago? I think she had someone else as well, didn't she? She's trying to sort of harass her off of YouTube, I think. Which is, and to me, YouTube seems to be calming down a little bit. I hope people feel the same. It's been a bit of a crazy place. I think we'll all agree for the past few months, and it's been way over the top. But I think it has calmed down a little bit now. I think people are starting to be a little bit more less um, insane, should we say? Um, I think I think a lot of people are projecting personal feelings and stuff like that out onto YouTube, which is maybe not healthy for a lot of people. I think people have taken it way too seriously. People get way too involved. People they don't really know, they take things personally, and it was just getting a little bit out of hand. Yeah, a few incidents spilled over into real life. They did. And that's never right, is it? If things start spilling out off of YouTube into real life, then that's never right. So I'm glad things kind of reached a peak and have now kind of calmed down, um, which is good. Which is good. We're all just maybe and hopefully now we've all found our place. We've all found our place on YouTube, and we can all just kind of agree to disagree and just kind of move on. Hopefully, that's what's going to happen. Yeah, you're right, Jalen. Mensa going was a huge plus. She needed to go. Um, Everything she was saying, she was basically victim bashing, wasn't she? And it was all unfounded. And I mean, she was taken off by YouTube for hate speech. That they don't do that lightly. That's not just done by people mass reporting. That is YouTube sitting down and deciding what she's saying is basically hate speech, isn't it? Um, free speech doesn't give you the right to spout hate, does it? And unfounded slander. Do you know what I mean? There's certain things, there's free speech, yeah, but there's certain things you can't just go off talking about, is there? Yeah, I handled it as best I could. I wanted to give everyone a chance to speak, um, and I've always wanted our channel to be transparent. And I was trying to be. I was sort of became aware of the chat getting quite heated, so a lot of my attention was focused on that. But in the end, it didn't get too crazy. Um, so and it was nice to be able to apologise to Frank and Frankie at the end of that live. That was nice for me personally, just to be able to do that. Yeah, I mean, Mensa did cause a lot of the problems, didn't she? And you couldn't debate with her about anything. And as soon as you try and speak to her, she'd automatically say that you're a troll and you're a doxer and you're an harasser, and but you can't do that and then wonder why people come after you, can you? And people are upset with you. Do you know what I mean? It's absolutely ridiculous that she thought she could do that and nobody was going to hate on her. I mean, come on. Come on. All that Munchausen by proxy rubbish and all that. And she wasn't allowed to see her children on her own. And it was all just unfounded lies. It was just unfounded lies. Purposefully done to antagonise and upset people. Yeah, they were demonic lies. Even I know Frank and Frankie went on there to try and talk to her, and she was horrible to them, and it's like, what are you doing? She clearly had an agenda. She clearly had an agenda. I don't know what it was. I swear to God, she was jealous, jealous of Shanann, the fact that she was pretty, she was successful, she was driven, everything probably that she isn't. And that's her problem. Don't make a channel and start trying to bash someone who's not even here anymore. Why would you do that? Why would you even do that? Solange, she hasn't seen her grandchildren for years. Fact. Well, no, I wouldn't be surprised at that at all. Wouldn't be surprised at all. Yeah, Kimberly agrees. Yeah, I really do think that. I do. I think she was jealous. And yeah, a 59, a grandmother as well. Why would you do that? I know she has got videos up somewhere else on some other platform, but I don't think it's anywhere near as anywhere near as much exposure as YouTube. So that's the main thing. And there's just is anyone aware of that Set the Record Straight channel? Some people are saying that's linked to her, and apparently that channel's got a hit list of people, and they're trying to report videos. I don't know whether they're reporting TP us or not. Uh, but yeah, there's still a few odd channels out there, I must say. Sassy Tech, she shares that channel with someone. Kimberly saw it last night. Yeah, what did you think? Because that's been one that has been similar to Miss Spencer and stuff in their beliefs and stuff that they've said about Shan and stuff like that. And the Rusex, they seem very anti against them, anti-Rusex, and popped up in your recommendations. Yeah, good old YouTube, isn't it? Sticks the most stupid, awful things in your recommendations sometimes. Does anyone know if does anyone know who it is that actually runs that channel? Does anyone? I don't know if it's a man or woman or. Oh, see you, Mick. Thanks for popping in. Yeah, I've never known who actually runs that channel, to be honest. But they've plenty got a lot to say. So he, she, it, probably Menza. Yeah. Well, yeah. Some people think that. I certainly thought that for a while because they share very similar viewpoints and stuff like that. Yeah, I saw that video, Kimberly. It was a list, wasn't it, of videos to report. I don't think Team Phoenix was on there though, which I was surprised at. I might be wrong. I might be wrong. Roger House did. I think it's one of like Miss Mensa's kind of Klingons. I think. I think anyway. And the Plunder channel, I think that's run. Someone said it was by a journalist. I can't remember her name. TP wasn't on there. Yay! For a change. Hi Louise, late to the party. That's fine. Take a drink. There's no seats left, fortunately. Yeah, Plunder. I think Plunder's run by a journalist, female journalist, I think. Because that channel did go, didn't it? And then it's back. It's back. Plunder Media. It's got a bit of a religious element. Paula Mooney, that's it. Well done, Solange. Yeah, Paula Neal Mooney. But she's got some very odd views on the case, on the Chris Watts case. I say there's still quite a few channels out there that I say that Starlight. Oh hi, bye Deb. That Starlight Mystic. What was the name before coming back? But yeah, she's actually reading live the new Chris Watts book. So she's asking for a copyright strike there. I mean, she's reading it terribly. She'll read 5 words and then start muttering on about something, or she can't read the words properly. So yeah, I don't know how long she's going to get away with that for. To be honest. Yeah, Angel Wings 2. That was her former name, wasn't it? Angel Wings 2. I mean, she's been on there drunk and everything, hasn't she? She said some terrible things about Shanann and stuff like that. Even people that she's done readings for. She's kind of said things like, I don't know, for instance, I don't know, your father's coming through and wants to let you know how much he hates you, stuff like that. Real horrible stuff. Horrible. So yeah, there are some There are some channels still out there, guys. Brandy Brown, I happened across her article about the book the other day. Yes, she thinks she can get away with reading it live on YouTube. Well, I'm sure people have reported her already for copyright. Yeah, it is crazy. Oh, Sim 2 licensed one. You saw her get drunk and passed out. Did she actually pass out? Did she actually on a live? I've heard she did. I heard she was completely drunk, and so did she actually pass out? Holly Benjamin, yeah, she's disgusting, yelling at Shannon and telling people they are hated by their parents, and they were raped. She's a monster as well. Oh my God! See, why would you do that? Why would you? A few times passed out. Oh my God! Why would you do that on YouTube for everyone to see? My God! I'm glad you lot are normal here. My God! She throws up as well. Oh my God! Hello? I think this is Jamie.
Hey,
Hi, Jamie. How are you?
hey, I'm good. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. It's nice to actually make contact.
I know. I see your lives, and I know you've been in my lives some, and we've been trying to talk
Yeah,
live, but we haven't been able to.
never happens.
And,
Well, it's good that you've
you
managed to
know,
make it through.
yeah, and I have my kids are here, so they may come in and I may have to like mute and but just to let you know that there may be some background noise, but yeah, so I don't know what you were talking about. So I was charging my phone and then I just hopped on um, right
Yeah,
before.
that's okay. Yeah, we're just actually discussing the sort of crime community at the moment and the channels that
Mm,
are still going around. Now, obviously, you're quite familiar with a few of
yes.
them. Do you want to
Hmm.
sort of expand on what you've been doing the last sort of few weeks or month
Yeah.
or so?
Yeah. Well, okay. So for me, I find it important to speak up upon the truth and speak up for victims and try to dispel like myths and ignorance and things like that, especially with the Watts case. It just seems like there's just this craziness that has come along with it. And it's really divided people and and I see the family, the Rusaks suffering and pleading to the public, to stop the conspiracies and lies, stick to the truth. And then you still have some creators continuing to go on with the conspiracies and the lies and like Menza, Miss Menza, whatever. She, of course, her channel was taken down by YouTube, thank God. But, unfortunately, set the record straight, which I call it set the record skewed because there's nothing straight about
Mm,
their channel. There's just I believe it's Menza.
mm.
Um, it's just and one reason I believe that, well, there's a million reasons, but like um, they have the same views, but just like set the record takes it just a little bit farther.
Mm.
Um, like I don't know if you've ever seen any of their videos about the case, but it's very disturbing. And have you seen any of them?
I have, yeah, I've seen some of them. Like you were saying, they do
Yeah.
seem to share very similar
Mm.
viewpoints on. Miss Menza, and her approach to the
Yes.
case, which I've always thought there's been a link between the two, which obviously you think as well.
Right. Right. And, it kind of started off, I guess, the beginning. I'll take everyone back, I guess, to the beginning of how the Watts, I don't know what we want to call this chaos, Watts chaos or whatever. When the case broke, last year, the Facebook groups were created, and Menza had a group, and Critical K was in that group, and um, Roger Halstead and some others were in that group as well. And it didn't take too long for the group to kind of, those are all those personalities. They kind of parted ways, and I guess Menza kept her group. Kay started her group, and Roger parted ways too. Um, and that's kind of when that kind of started. The bad blood started going with them between that group of people, and then it started trickling down. And then you have the YouTubers that were covering the case, and you had these like seeming to be like two different views, like pro Watts, or pro Chris sympathizers, and then you have the pro Shanann, or Shine Like Shanann, and a Peace for the Ruseks.
Mm,
And that seems to be kind of, and you have some people in the middle as well. And, but for the most part, and you know, I think for me, I base my things on facts and evidence. I do not, if there's facts and there's evidence, and I take that and I look at it, and I talk about it from that. But you know, when a murder case happens, in the beginning, we don't have a lot of information, and we have to kind of speculate a little bit.
mm,
But then the more information that you're given, the more you stop speculating in terms of who did it or all these things. Now, you were talking about psychology, and that is a big thing with true crimers. We want to understand the psychology of the situation. Um, what would motivate or push somebody to be capable of something so horrific that we, as normal, human beings, don't understand and could ever never fathom doing.
mm,
There is a psychology behind it, and we look at that and we try to understand it in a prophylactic kind of way, to hopefully prevent any future atrocities from happening. But so, like with this case, you have, Chris can, the first interrogation, they gave him, that was his first lie with, oh, okay, I'll take that. Okay, yeah, Shanann did it. She killed the girls, and I killed her,
mm.
and all that. And go ahead.
I think that partly is kind of, when they went with that Reed technique and obviously gave him that easy kind of
Hmm.
option. I
Right.
wonder if the fact that they did that, it gave people the chance, these kind of anti-Shanann people to kind of jumped on that.
Yeah.
The fact that maybe she could have done it,
Right.
um, and that may be what spiraled that off, to go that way. Where maybe if they hadn't have done that, would that have ever happened? I always wonder that.
You know, here's what I've seen. Um, from all the Chris Watt sympathizers that I've seen, that's a pattern with them. They always tend to sympathize with the murderer for some reason. And it's really strange. And I'll just take Critical K, for instance. Um, she was just talking last night in a live. She has this weird obsession over Jodi Arias. And, she had poked fun at, Travis Alexander, and in a sexual way, and his corpse. And she has that morbid, I don't know what you call it, morbid sense of humor. I don't crude. But she, if you listen to the way that she was like talking about Jody, and like, I guess there may be a she may be appealing, and you could already tell she's setting up to be in support of her
Hmm.
in some ways. And so for some reason they tend to do that's kind of who they tend to advocate for.
Hmm.
They see a victim in the murder, and in however way they do. And it could be some, they might see some of themselves. A lot of times, with a lot of these people, other people are extensions of them, and they can't really separate. And if they like something, or if they see something, or if they see themselves in somebody, they they see that more of an extension of themselves, and then they start protecting it. And it's just weird.
Hmm.
But it's psychology. It happens. Um, and I
Yeah.
just feel, yeah, go ahead.
So I was gonna say, for me, yeah, I find that weird. I find that weird the fact that they would. I can understand the aspect of wanting to get into the mind of
Right.
someone who's done that, but to actually want to kind of advocate for them and support them,
Exactly.
I don't understand that
Mm-mm.
point of it. Um,
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
and that, I mean, regarding, for instance, say the hypocritical one, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, this obvious kind of flip-flopping that she's done,
Oh, Lord.
um, which a lot of people just seem to be going along with. Oh, fine. Oh, what a great person.
I know.
She's seen
I
this.
know.
She's seen the light and everything.
Ugh.
I
Yeah.
don't get it. I don't get it, and I don't support
Mm-mm.
it at all.
No, I don't either. I don't either. I see right through her. And yeah. And see, and I think I did at least one of my lives recently. I addressed her and her flip flopping. And I mean, it just gives you whiplash. I mean, and for me, it's like I'm also advocating for her followers and other viewers, because when I see, creators manipulating their followers, subscribers, whatnot, I don't like that. And I will call that out. I think that's just wrong. And I think, I mean, and I saw some people, you know, I think they just want to believe that, oh, look, she's, she's standing up for the Rusex. No, I mean, what she's doing right now, she hates the Watts. Like, she's out for vengeance. Like, she's out for revenge.
Hmm.
And that's what she's doing. She doesn't care about the Rusex.
No.
Um, and the fact that she could sit there on her platform after what she's done for a year, and then, get up on her little soapbox and be like, shame on you.
Hmm.
Shame on you, Cindy, or shame on you for doing that. Leave them alone. It's like, heed your own, like, heed your own words.
Yeah.
Like, that's ridiculous. And you see her do that all the time. And, I mean, I know we don't, like, I'm not a psychologist. We don't, but she's definitely she's definitely a cluster B. Let's just say that. She's a cluster B personality. I can, probably some narcissism, hardcore in that, in her. And yeah, those people are dangerous with uh, just anything and everything that they are involved in.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
from what I understand, she kind of reached out to the Watts family very early on, a couple of days after it
mhm,
happened. Um, and then, of course, she went on her kind of Shanann bashing rampage. I mean,
yeah,
I know Jay for Justice, who she kind of used to be friends with, is now
mhm,
trying to expose her. And if you watch some of her videos, you know,
yeah,
she's clearly there. She's on audio saying that she thinks Shanann's a narcissistic piece of crap and she deserved what she
yeah,
got and stuff like that. And
yeah,
when you say stuff like that, and people call you out on it, it's very difficult to take back. So for them to turn around and
yeah.
try and advocate for the
I
reset,
know.
it's people, but
Yeah,
people do seem to be buying it. So I don't really understand.
I don't either. I'm like, what? It boggles my mind. I sit back and I'm like, oh, like, I mean, these, like, and it's the same thing with like Mary Marlowe and people like that. I'm like, I guess, I just see them and it's so like obvious, like what they're doing. And even armchair detective. I mean,
Hmm.
they're, they are I mean, they're just con artists. They're manipulators. They're bullies. They're hateful. Um, and I know, I mean, I understand people tend to need, as human, I guess, okay, here's the way I was like thinking about it the other day. Like, we are, okay, yeah, essentially we're animals, but like, okay, but like animals in the wild are like, let's just say, like, you know what I'm talking about? Like animals, like, there has to be an alpha, right? For
Yeah.
survival purposes.
Hmm.
So, so they will gravitate towards the alpha and follow them and everything. But as human beings, we are not, we are evolved. Like we have our own minds. We don't need that for survival. Like we don't need to follow some, person that has the loudest, voice or bark or whatever you want to call it. We don't need that. And we need to break that part of us, because you still see people just going back to kind of their instinctual kind of behaviors. Um, and they'll just start gravitating, and it's not the best thing. It's not the right thing. It's toxic. It's just, it's something we need to be aware of as human beings. Um, it's just this thing that we need to, when we start getting in these like situations where we're looking at, let's just say if I was, which I'm not, but if I was a follower of K's or something, like I'd have to be like, why, why am I, why am I being pulled to them? Why? Is it because, they're a good person or they're a nice person to me? Do they value me? Do they, or what they're saying the truth? Or do they just sound just like aggressive and like they're just a strong personality? And is that why I'm kind of gravitating to them? And
Mm.
I just find that people tend to do that, and it's not the best thing, and it's really to their detriment,
Yeah, I
you
think
know?
they're very good at manipulating people, aren't they? Some people,
Yes.
and like you're saying, sort of Marlowe and Armchair, they've gone down this speculation route, haven't they? And conspiracy
Hmm.
theory, and they can see
Yeah.
that there's a following behind it. Particularly we picked it
Right.
up early on with Armchair and stuff with the NK being involved, and he
Yeah.
knows that there's a huge following of people that want her to be involved. And so he's made it his sole aim to prove to everyone that she was there and she was
I
involved.
know.
And people have bought into it and they've gone along with it. And it's not going to happen in my eyes. There's still no proof that
I
she was
mean,
there.
I know. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, for crying out loud, people, like I think you said earlier, it's like we need to look at the facts. We need to look at the evidence. And, if she was involved on any level, they would have arrested her. Something would have happened by now. Um, and there is just absolutely no evidence to prove that. Only imagination and speculation and only projection
Hmm.
that is occurring. Like you were saying, they want her because they want her to. Well, that's not how true crime works. Okay, we can't will things to be the way we want it to be. It is what it is. We can't change it. Like once it happens, we can't sit here and be like, well, no, I don't like that, so I'm gonna swatch this out for that. And no, I don't want that person. I want these 3 people to be involved. And, it's like you can't do that. Um, you
No,
just can't do that.
no, you can't sort of hate someone that much that
Yes,
you want them to be there. They've got to be there. It's got to be because of them, because I hate
exactly.
them so much. And
Right.
that seems to have
And
been what it's like, isn't it? Certainly towards
mhm.
NK and stuff like that.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I mean, Mary Marlowe's, I mean, she's kind of implicated Jim, hasn't she? And even
Oh Lord,
Jamie
yeah.
and people like that, which, we've said to her that it's very reckless of you to do that because it only takes one lunatic out there that believes what she's
Mhm.
saying
Exactly.
and tracks them down, and who knows
That's
what
Yep,
they
that's
might do.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. That's exactly what I say all the time. I'm like, because she uses the words like, I'm out for their blood. I hope that they never I hope that they are. I hope when they go out that they are harassed. Um, she says all these things. I mean, she's now said like a coworker of Chris's, like Cody. Um, and whoever she can, oh, you were there. Okay. You were around that vicinity. Well, maybe you were involved. Let's do it. That's why, like, one of my last videos that I parodied of her, I'm like, I don't know you, but you're probably a troll and you probably were there and you did it too. And, but yeah, it's very, very dangerous. And you don't have the right to do that. She's slandering and she's, she is messing with people's lives. And it's not acceptable on any level. You don't do that. And look, I don't, I hate cheating. I don't condone it in any way. But when and my first response is, oh, yeah, NK, gosh, she's that, that Jezebel, like
Hmm.
that, she got the best of Chris and Shanann, got put 6 feet under and all this stuff. But then when I didn't ever blame her for it. It's just that initial kind of response. But then I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. First of all, who was married? Chris, not her. Chris was married.
Hmm.
She didn't take vows. She was a single woman. He lied to her, like he lies to everybody else. He's a pathological liar. And she was under the impression that they were getting him and Shanann were getting a divorce. Shanann and the girls were gone for 5 weeks, you know, and that was a perfect opportunity for him to take advantage of. Oh, she left me. We're going to sell the house. We're getting a divorce. And then he was living the bachelor life. He could call her anytime. He could go over to her house. He could go on dates with her. He can go to the sand dunes. Why would she think anything different? And so Chris lied to her. But when all this happened, she's like, wait a minute. wait, wait, your wife is pregnant and you didn't tell me? And where are they? Like, what's going on? And, he lied to her the whole time. And one of the things he said was the reason why he didn't tell her that Shanann was pregnant is because he knew that she would stop seeing him. Because, like, truthfulness was very important to her. She's that in one of their first email exchanges, she was like, I really appreciate people that are honest, you
Hmm.
know,
Hmm.
and you'll get, like you don't get that's not very people don't value that anymore these days. And Chris wrote back, "Oh, I'm a straightforward guy. You're going to get nothing but the truth from me." Well, that's enough. He's a liar.
Yeah,
And
of
so
course he
she's,
is.
yeah. And so she's like, okay, you know what? This guy's okay. And she knew, yeah. Did she know that they were married at the time? Yeah. But he soon, the foundation was laid and he was, took advantage of it. And so why does she deserve any extra amount of hate just because she had an affair with a married man who was lying to her and saying that he was separated and getting a divorce?
Yeah, I mean,
She doesn't.
no, exactly. I mean, even if, she knew he was married, she knew that Sinead was pregnant and all of that, it
Right.
still doesn't, excuse the fact of what he did.
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
and a lot of focus has been taken away from him, hasn't it, really, from the start, because everyone else has been blaming other
Uh,
people and accomplices, and
exactly.
he's the
Exactly.
one, he's the one that's done
He's the
everything.
one.
Yeah,
Exactly. Exactly. That is what I try to stress. It's like people, he does not deserve to have like any of that spotlight taken off of him or any of that blame. He did it. It's his fault. Stop giving, like, I don't understand why people start, it's like they want to excuse him for some reason. And I'm like, yeah, I'm like, he did this. Like, it's his fault. Like, and when they start nitpicking at Shanann, I'm like, that makes me so upset and
mm,
so frustrated because they are just nitpicking at this beautiful soul that is no longer here to defend herself. And they're sitting here saying, well, you know, she was a strong personality. She was dominant. She would belittle Chris. She was they were she was 3 months behind on the mortgage. The HOA fees weren't up to date. Uh, this, that, and the other. And
yeah,
I'm like, okay, last I checked, there were two adults in that household. Okay, there wasn't just one, even though Chris is a man baby. There were supposed to be two, Shanann and Chris. So why aren't you saying that to Chris?
mm. And
Like,
what
he was just as responsible for the
absolutely,
money.
yeah. And
And, you
what
know,
what relevance has it got anyway? You know,
exactly.
what relevance has that got to him murdering his family? Nothing.
Yeah, nothing. And they try to be like, well, because that's not, look, we're not, they're saying, well, he was pushed. No, he was not pushed. Shanann was fighting for her marriage with every ounce of her being. Bless her. And she was trying so hard. And that evil monster had just, he's a psychopath. He is a psychopath.
Yeah,
Now, you know, just, I mean, and the fact too, it's like, there is no excusing it. Like, I don't care if you're the bitchiest person in the world. You don't deserve to be murdered. You leave. But that
exactly.
wasn't the case. And for people to start trying to, because it does, I guess they're like, it just doesn't make sense. Okay, well, it must be this. It must be that she was just overbearing, or, no, Chris did not tell her anything because he really didn't care, you know? But then it was like, at the end, he was like, well, I can't hang a picture. "Oh, okay, well, I'm sorry, I didn't know that. I'm gonna fix that." He, but he's, like I said, he's a psychopath, so he
Yeah,
does not care, and he let her just do whatever she wanted, and she was who she was, and so that's his fault again, not hers. Okay,
absolutely.
and again, like, and so these people that go on and they're like trying to, it's like, no, no,
No,
no. I just keep saying no. Like,
yeah. And
no,
uh, and there's such a thing as a divorce, Chris, It's like a
Yes.
lot of people do it every day, you know.
Yeah,
Um, that's kind of
exactly.
what people do is if they're not happy, they or they
Yep.
go to counselling, marriage counselling, or they think of getting a divorce.
Hmm.
It's
Well,
not
yeah.
it's not rocket science, you know.
No, it's not. And I just, I went through a divorce, and yeah, it sucks. I mean, it's painful as hell. But you know what? You know, you don't take the other's life, like you don't have the right to do that. And see, Chris didn't ever want to take responsibility for anything really. And let's focus on that, guys. Let's focus on the fact instead of sitting here and saying, why couldn't Shanann do everything? Because I don't know why people would. And then, oh, I hate too hearing like, and even Mary Marlowe, because Mary Marlowe is a Chris Watts sympathizer. Because she's like, oh, he couldn't have done this. Oh, he's not capable. Oh, he's just no, no. It was the puppet master. It was
Really,
NK. Oh yeah, she's like NK. She was a puppet master. She's pulling the strings. She was there. He didn't do it. He did not do it. Now, did he allow it? Yes, but he did not physically do it. It was it
absolutely.
was it was NK and her gang of people. Like that happens every day, right? You hear of like
Mm.
a family annihilation happening, like, because that's so common, right? It
Yeah,
takes
yeah.
like five people, and but even at that, it's just there's no evidence, and the whole blowing up and no evidence again.
No, no. Someone in the chat's just questioning that, that infamous 111-minute phone conversation. I heard someone the other day
Oh
that they were having phone sex or something. The thing you got to consider is that they had been together for what, 4 or 5 weeks, 5 weeks,
yeah.
and this was all coming to an end. This perfect little scenario that they had was all coming to an end. So to me, it's no surprise that they spent 2 hours on the phone.
Shoot, I
Probably,
mean, like we do lives and it goes for hours,
mm,
I mean, because we're just talking. When you talk, and I mean, but that's not weird. I mean, but here's one thing I want people to remember. Like, if you want to look at the facts about NK, she was a single, independent woman. Okay. She held her own. She had her own apartment. She had her own, money. She had just gotten her dream job. She just started working at Anadarko not long before she met Chris. Or, that Chris and her started their friendship and then affair and everything. So why in the world would she, you know, potentially ruin everything over this guy that's like she barely knows? I mean, no. I mean, Chris would comment on how independent she was, how she would go camping by herself. He's like, wow, I've never even done that before. I can't
mm,
imagine doing it by myself, you know?
mm,
And so she was an independent woman. She didn't need a man, you know? And so this whole theory that, she had her claws in him and she was just coaxing him and stuff. No. Now, was she like, was there, I mean, was she expressing at times feeling like a second class citizen? Sure. I mean, I think that's not abnormal. Um, or having maybe fears of maybe like not, um, because typically a man, when they would divorce their wife or their kids would still be number one, they'd be
yeah,
important, and there would still be a family element, even, as much as the exes hated each other, so there was probably, because she came from a divorced home, and so she knew, and that's why she was very apprehensive about it.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm sure if she's got any involvement or law enforcement think in any way she was involved, they will find that out. I can kind of understand from the Ruzek's point of view, they would want that obviously if she was involved.
Oh yeah, of
Um,
course.
but
Yeah, of
I
course they
don't,
would.
yeah, and obviously what happened, and she's the kind of mistress. So if anything, obviously, I'm sure they will find it. Um, But at the moment, I
Yeah.
don't think there obviously is anything.
No, there isn't. And, also one thing I wanted to, so with the Ruseks, they absolutely would want no stone unturned to leave and no stone unturned, but they don't want any blame being taken off of Chris either. Because Chris is the reason this happened, despite any other things. Now, also, you could also say that if you want to say NK was an influence in any way, not a direct, definitely an indirect, right? Everything in our lives, anything that we come into contact with, people, anything, it's an influence directly or indirectly. Um, and so you could say NK was this indirect influence brought on by Chris. But yeah, did it have, was it part of this? Yeah. Now, if it wasn't her, it would have been somebody else, probably. Because once he was done with, Shanann, he was going to find another supply. He was bored. He was done with that. And he had a new body. And he's like, you know what? I can get more. I can get a better supply. So I'm just going to discard of my family, like trash, and I'm going to move on to what I want to move on because it's all about me, right?
Yeah,
It's all what
absolutely.
it's all about with Chris. It's ugh,
Yeah,
ugh to me,
whatever benefits him in it really at the end of the day.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
and yeah,
mm,
and yeah. So, but they, but even Chris's family, you could say, like, especially with the whole situation that happened in North Carolina and how his mom had behaved over the 8 years from not going to the wedding to not going to Cece's birthday party because of all that. Now, I think they are coming. And I spoke to Mel myself just once recently because of the book situation. Um, and she was saying how they are believing now. They're seeing, unfortunately, it took way too long to see the light.
hmm
But they're seeing now that, wow, maybe that's why their relationship was so bad because of Chris.
yeah,
Because of Chris. Chris was lying to his mom and his dad and his sister about Shanann. Shanann tried so hard over the years, so hard, despite everything she tried. And, and I just, yeah, I can't stand. I mean, it's just, ugh. And I'm all about forgiveness, and to a certain degree. Um, when I'm talking about, like, I don't know the whole situation with the Watts, nor do I really care. Um, if they want to, say they're sorry for the way that they have behaved, starting from the interrogation room with Ronnie before Chris even confessed to murdering Shanann. He started bashing Shanann right off the bat. Like, and all the points that he brings up in that one that you can't barely understand him, but like everything that is exactly what the Chris sympathizers have ran with. And I noticed that when I rewatched it, I was like, wow, that's like the foundation of like the Shanann bashing and all this stuff. So
mm,
yeah, the family has a lot. They've done a lot. They've victimized, and they owe the Rusaks. I can't
yeah,
even.
absolutely. They need to get out there, and they need to start telling the truth. They need to start
Hmm.
um,
Yes.
owning up for things that they've said and done,
Right.
and
Hmm.
putting things right.
Yeah.
You know, and
Exactly.
I've
Exactly.
told them that they
Yeah.
know that, and that's just a start, isn't it?
It is a start.
But
Yeah. It's a start.
that's what they need to do, you know.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
people are telling lies about it, then they need to come out and say why it's lies and look, this isn't true. And it needs to come from
Right.
the family. It needs to come from, I think, Jamie and Cindy and Ronnie. They need to
Yeah, they do.
to step up and
Absolutely.
speak out. That's my personal opinion.
I believe so too. And when I think about Shanann and the girls and Baby Nico, like I can picture them. They wouldn't want the families to hate each other. Um, I don't think that that's something that is it's not what is ideal in the end. I think that if anything from this horrific um, act that Chris did, that at least hopefully the families one day, that the Watts, can apologize and, for everything that they've said and done. And hopefully one day, that they would be able to, what I mean?
Yeah,
Not,
yeah. I don't think they're
you
all going
know,
to sit down and sort of have dinner together, if you like. But I think maybe they can,
yes, yeah,
certainly from the Watt side, they can draw a line under a lot of this hate. And if that's they're claiming is misinformation, then they can put that right, and that's down to them to do that, isn't it?
exactly. Yeah. It's just, and, with the whole book, I don't even know about Cindy's book, but and I don't whatever. But like with this letters from Christopher, and I call it anti-Christopher. It's like I just feel like people don't, like don't, because it's like you're basically saying, yes, Chris, please keep lying, and we will buy it.
Yeah, just give him more attention.
Yeah, give him more attention.
Yeah, he doesn't. Oh, I wouldn't give him the time of day. But
Mm-mm.
right, okay. I'm gonna have to. Was it
Yeah.
11:04? That's all right. It's nice for you to call in. It's nice to actually finally
Yes.
catch
Thank
up.
you for having me. Yeah. Thank you for
That's all
having me
right.
on.
Um,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to draw a line under it, so I'm gonna have to go to bed soon. It's
Yeah.
11:05 here in the UK. So, but no, I really appreciate you calling in. It's
Oh, yeah,
nice
definitely.
to hear from you. And
Yeah. Thank you for having me on.
that's all right. I'll put your channel link under the
Oh, thank
video
you.
when we're done and stuff like that. I'm sure a lot of our
Yeah.
chat's familiar with you anyway. So
Oh, yeah. 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 I think we share a lot of the same
yeah, and
people. So,
yeah,
well, thank you so much.
that's okay. I'll let you get back to your little ones.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, have a good night.
Thanks, Jamie.
Okay.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye. Bye.
Bye. Thanks.
Oh, there we go. That was Jamie. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with Jamie from Making Lemonade. She does some funny parodies as well. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll put her. I think she's got two channels now, actually, haven't you, Jamie? I'll put
It only through the microphone, like, or through that. Um,
put your main one in the chat. I think you've got a live one as well, haven't you? But yeah, that was a good call. Can still hear Jamie. I think that was where I opened her channel because I thought I could too. But yeah, I've closed it now. You shouldn't be able to hear it. It's just one of her videos playing. Right, guys, I am going to hop off. So, so yeah, just to reiterate, if anyone, in their state or whatever in the US, if they're familiar with ways that people can contact victim support and stuff like that, if they've got phone numbers or websites, web links, stuff like that for victims to contact in their area, if you um, wouldn't mind just dropping them or dropping me an email. Um, I'm just going to put it in the chat now. Or if you're listening, if you are a victim and you'd like to speak or or come on social media and sort of share your story, then by all means email me as well. And yeah, hopefully we can sort of get this channel up and going in that direction. That's ultimately what I would like us to do, is to be a voice for victims as we discuss crimes as well. And sometimes we're going to end up talking Chris Watts inevitably, which is what's happened tonight. I think a lot of that has to do with the books being out, and there's still so many kind of unanswered questions. And obviously our channel's kind of linked to the whole case, which it's hard for us to just kind of wash away. But that's the direction that our channel wants to go down anyway. So hope you can join us and come along with us. We've let our channel sort of steer itself. This is kind of where we've ended up, which is good. I like it. I like it. I like doing it. I like the way the channel runs. It's not rigid. We're not set in stone of what we do, and I kind of like that. I like running the channel like that. I'd like to be able to commit a bit more time to it, but it's just difficult with work and stuff like that. It's, as I say, I work full time, so it is difficult, unfortunately. But might be there if anyone wishes to help in any way. Also, please drop me an email. If there's any way you can help in research or anything like that, please let me know. Maybe we can integrate you into the channel as well, stuff like that. So yeah, it's all good. And thanks for being so well behaved. That was really good. It is what it is. That's right, Anthony. It is what it is. Sometimes that's just what it is. Thanks for the chat, for being so well behaved. I only saw a couple of people kind of misbehaving a little bit. Thanks to Summer Rains, I saw you emerging from the shadows like a true warrior, taking a couple of people out. So I really appreciate that. Yeah, look at that. Run a chat without having to assign out any wrenches. Now that is just amazing. I didn't think we'd be able to do that. But there you go. I really appreciate that, guys. And that just sums up what a fantastic community of people we've got as well. Which, considering all the things that people call us, flies in the face of that, doesn't it? You can't see Summer. She's a ninja, you see. She is a ninja. Oh, thanks, True Helper. Yeah, so if anyone, just drop us an email. Put it under the video. Just sort of drop me an email, just with your basic, how you could help or what your background experience is. I know, True Helper, I know you mod on Scott's channel, don't you? So anything like that, just that you think, to inform us and you think would be helpful for me to know, then that would be good. That would be good. There's Summer Rain swooping in, look. Swooping in like a ninja. Hi, Tabitha. You've just come in right at the end. Unfortunately, just closing up shop. So yeah, night all. Thanks to everyone again. Thanks to Summer. And thanks to everyone for being so well behaved in the chat. Thanks for Jamie for calling in. And I'm sure we will speak again soon, no doubt. So stay safe out there, guys. And until we speak again, au revoir. Is it au revoir? Yeah, au revoir.